Hi there, this is Chuck with Pocket Snakes. Today I'm going to show you spinning some para-aramid lacing tape crackers. These are 1.5 millimeters and they're twine spun out of flat lace. And so this is a 2-foot piece of the lace. It's very thin and it's similar to Kevlar. It's you have to tie a little knot on the end, on each end of the 2-foot piece, because it creates a stop knot. And then you tie an overhand knot. And there's a hook up here. And this will hold about, this is size 3 aircraft wiring harness tape for lacing wiring harnesses and aircraft together. It's a flat braided material. And I have a large eye dull needle that I use to lock the spun cord together. And I have a hook up there, and I have a hook that for spinning. It's out of a coat hanger wire. And a crook, which this shape is neat because it spins it but leaves the loop open. Allows you to stick it on a soda straw. So you have to spin this cord. So I'm spinning it counterclockwise to start with. And you'll watch it get smoother and smoother, and it becomes difficult to turn the coat hanger wire at a certain point. And you want to stop before it starts knotting up. Take your crook and put it in the middle, fold it up, set it on the hook, and then it will try and spin clockwise. And so that's the direction I'm going to spin it next. And I overspin these and kind of seat it and then let go. Then I have a pair of scissors I don't care too much about. You cut off the 2 knots. And then I like about a 3-inch, so about 2.5 inch. You have to unspin it 2.5 inches. And you'll see the flat tapery up here. You want to straighten out the tape so it's flat-ish. You take the dull needle and penetrate the middle of the woven cord. Take one end and feed it through the eye of the needle and pull it through. And then in the piece that came through, take the dull needle and you put it through the 2 cords, or put it through the 1 cord. And now you've got a bleed knot in this cord and it won't undo. Now you can use it just like that. I like to throw, this is the cord that came through, I like to throw 1 more bleed knot in it. And this person asked for them to be feathered, so I'll feather the ends. But it makes a very secure, very flat knot that's almost impossible to see without real strong glasses. And I'm going to take and feather this flat cord into its strands using kind of a blunt fid. It's a paracord lacing fid. And If somebody wants it feathered, it will feather on its own and it will actually tangle before it'll go through the 3 bleed knots, but some people like the look of it to be feathered to start with. So you take 1 yarn, make a 1/2 hitch against the stem, and seat it. Take the next feather. We're going to feather it out. And you really don't want a sharp fid because you'll get into a yarn instead of in between the yarns. I'm taking about 1/8 of an inch at a time and just untangling it, unbraiding it. Okay, I have unbraided that feather, and now I take 1 yarn from that feather and seat it. That makes the smallest knot you can. That'll hold it together, just 2 1/2 hitches. Then you put the end of the piece and you just slide it onto the soda straw. The nice part about having these on the soda straw is if you have a loop on the end of your whip, you can put the loop in, pull the cracker onto the loop, fold it through, and you don't have to keep the loop open. The soda straw does that for you. And I've got 4, so I'm going to spin a few more of these. I'll show you again. This one already, I put the first knot in it. And this is a fairly fast process. This material is very expensive because it's an aircraft wiring harness tape, and it's got a mil spec number. It's a couple $100 for a small roll of it. And it'll hold 90 some pounds, almost 100 pounds on this 1/10 of an inch wide by 1/100 of an inch thick braided Kevlar cord or para-aramid cord. It's not made by DuPont, it's made by Nomex, which is a different company, but it's very similar to Kevlar. It's just not made by DuPont. So I usually count the number of this finger, and I do 2 passes, 1, 2, and that counts as 1. Usually spin it 30 passes on this material for a 2-ply size 2 cracker in this. It has 2 big feathers on the end. Oops. Once in a while you'll slip the loop off of the top and it'll come out. And unlike the Kevlar yarn, you can actually unspin it and put it back where it belongs because you want that loop to be open. But people ask how I get the crackers so precise. It's, well, I hand spin it and I pay attention to how I spin it, how much I spin it for the different materials, and I try and optimize how it spins together into a twine, into a cracker. There's very little waste in this process, which is nice. Okay, so I've peeled that one apart, I've peeled this one apart. Split the center of this cord. And you'll notice I'm not wearing glasses because this doesn't require, it's not that hard because the flat cord tends to get a curl in it to find the center with the needle. It just You put it in the bottom of the trench and push gently and it goes through. And people sometimes ask, why is it expensive to do for these crackers? It's, well, the material's expensive and it takes quite a bit of time to spin each one. But you get exactly the result you want, which is why I do it. I want it exactly how I want it. And it makes about a 3-inch feather out here on the end, and on about a 9-inch cracker with 2 feet of this material. And when you don't screw it up, it still takes you a few minutes to go through the process of properly making this cracker. I came up with this particular cracker because I wanted something longer lasting. And I put the information out there online because I think you should share knowledge and information with people and let them, if they want to set and make crackers, that's fine. It's not a lot of money in setting and making crackers for sure. Or most of the things I do. I do it because I enjoy everything being just perfect or as close to perfect as I can achieve. So, but I try and make beautiful things. These have a little bit more abrasive nature, so they're a little better cracker if you're trying to cut through flower stems and such than the Kevlar yarn crackers, because these are 2 spun flat things which always have an abrasiveness where the edges meet. I didn't quite undo that all the way. I'm grabbing 1 yarn, through a 1/2 hitch against the stem. It's basically an overhand knot, but it's rolled down, and with 2 knots on top of each other like that, you can see the 2 that got tied, but they'll mix up as you go. Makes a really nice cracker if you like durable crackers for your stock whip or bull whip, or even if you have a snake whip. But you can see how consistently you can get the crackers. Anyway, I'm going to check out and I'll come back and use the camera again in a minute.